In today's video, I'm bringing you Things You Missed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Part 2, and that's coming up. What's up there and welcome to a brand new video on 414 Yugioh. In today's video, I'm bringing you Things You Missed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom Arc Part 2. And hey, if you're new here, why not join the 414 community by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out. A lot of you really enjoyed Part 1 of this series, so I'm really excited to bring Part 2. Part 2 is going to cover from episodes 11 all the way through to episode 21, where we see the classic duel between Yugi Joey and the Paradox brothers. So we're kicking things off with episode 11. This is where Joey takes on Rex Raptor, and to be fair, nothing happens in episode 11, so pretty clean there. However, we move on to episode 12. Once again, during the duel with Rex, nothing really happens. However, later on in the episode, when Bakura is brought into play, this is where we do. So they're all sat around that little tree stump with the playmat on it. In the US version, the words on the duel mat are removed. However, when the group collapses after having their souls removed, you can briefly see the words on the playmat. Though just before this, in a faraway clip, you can see Bakura wearing the Millennium Ring. However, it disappears, and then when he makes his big reveal about him being Yami Bakura, he summons it with magic, though we've already seen it, right? Moving on to episode 13 now, so this is the duel between Yami Yugi and Yami Bakura. When Joey first turns around as the Flame Swordsman to see the giant Yugi, his card is turned around as well, so the attack and defense points are pointing towards Yami Bakura. This actually happens again as Joey apologizes for attacking Morphin Jar. Monster Reborn, or classically Reborn the Monster, has the usual artwork that we're used to in the TCG. However, when it was activated for the first time to bring Tristan back from the graveyard, the Ankh of the original Japanese OCG artwork can be briefly seen glowing. Finally, in episode 13, when Teia's Tears activate Magician of Faith's special ability, as the camera zooms out, the stats on the card are actually that of the Dark Magician instead of Magician of Faith. Moving on to episode 14, and this was that duel with Panic, and I'm just going to quickly put that out there. When this episode first aired in the United States on Kids WB, it was actually merged with episode 15, and it was titled Panic Attack. They just kind of put it all into one big episode. However, in 2007, with 4Kids TV, the episode was split once again into two. This one applies to both episodes. Spellbinding Circle is shown to be face down after it was activated, even though obviously we know it should be face up. So moving on to episode 15 in specific now. When Panic is becoming nervous after playing Yellow Luster Shield, Metal Guardian can be seen on the field, even though Panic hasn't played it yet. On the side of Yugi's podium, his life points were shown as 1,606 before it had actually been reduced to that number. In another scene, Joey is holding up Mai's star chip, and it looks like there's actually 7 there instead of the 8 that should be there. This one is quite funny. The Swords of Revealing Light actually disappear after 2 of Panic's turns, even though Yugi stated himself that it would last for 3 of his turns. Awesome. This last one for this episode I found really quite interesting. I didn't really think about it. Of course, this one is about the classic flotation ring, Gaia being thrown at it play. Classic Yu-Gi-Oh logic. Of course, that won Yugi the duel against Panic, and a lot of people kind of take the mick out of Yu-Gi-Oh for that, you know, me included, to be fair, I'm not going to lie. But it is often forgotten that if you look at Catapult Turtle's actual TCG effect, Yugi would have won with this move, like, legitimately. The effect of Catapult Turtle, of course, is that you tribute a monster and you inflict damage equal to half the attack of that monster to your opponent. Since Guy the Dragon Champion had an attack of 3,200 at the time, Panic would have lost 1,600 life points, which would have reduced it to 0. So, legitimate win for Yugi either way. Awesome. Particularly in episode 15 as well, many of the changes to attack, defense and life points were blatantly intended to round to the nearest 100s. This is simply because in the episode previous to this, all of Panic's monsters ended up having uneven numbers in terms of their attack and defense. Moving on to episode 16 then, this is that classic first battle between Joey and Kaiba with those, like, first ever duel discs, the things that they're just like, the Frisbee duel discs, so to speak. For a split second, you can see the Japanese life points counter the second time the life points screen appears after Armored Lizard is destroyed. In the Japanese version of the episode, when Battleox is summoned, the graphic has its defense at 900 instead of its usual 1000. This episode, of course, has one of the most classic lines in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! In it as well. It would be an absolute crime for me not to shine a light, a beacon of light on this moment. This is probably one of my favourite Yu-Gi-Oh! Moments of all time. But when Kaiba throws Joey to the ground, this is where Bakura tells Yugi to check Joey's pulse. Why? Moving on to episode 17 then, this is where Joey takes on Bones. Before Bones activates Call of the Haunted, he labels it a magic card, which we would think is wrong, but in the Japanese version it was depicted as a spell rather than a trap. Also in the Japanese version of this episode, when Crash Clown is played, the card has no level. Moving on to episode 18 then, this is kind of part 2 of that Joey Bones duel. When Joey thinks about using Time Wizard to win previous duels, he says that it fossilized Rex Raptor's dinosaur. The problem with that is that it was actually the Red Eyes Black Dragon which was fossilized, and last time I checked, Red Eyes Black Dragon was a dragon, not like a Godzilla dinosaur. Anyway, when Bones sets Stop Defense, he calls it a trap card in the anime. This could be from Defense Paralysis, whose artwork is the same as Stop Defense. When Pumpkin King of Ghosts is summoned, its attack is shown as 1,500. When Joey fails at the effect of Time Wizard, he loses 900 life points, half of the Flame Swordsman's attack, which is correct, that's what he'd lose. However, what they did not calculate was the attack of Time Wizard, which means the total damage Joey should have took was 1,150, bringing Joey down to 380 life points. Also, going back to Time Wizard, this is the only episode in the entire series where Time Wizard's Skull Effect was activated, highlighting Joey's immense luck, or the card wasn't used that often, who knows. Moving on to episode 19, so this is Paradox Brothers. In one scene, Labyrinth Tank is in its original Japanese card format. When Para is going through the rules of the Labyrinth duel thing that's going on, he also states the cycle in which players will make their turn, starting with him, then Yugi, then his brother Dox, and finally Joey, then back to Para again. He and Dox are actually in the other spot in the cycle. This is due to like the Japanese word for paradox being like backwards, if that makes sense. So they are in fact flipped, but of course we're watching like a dub where we don't flip it, so they are flipped, if that makes sense. I made that really long. Towards the end of the episode, Dox sets Jurai Gumo as a trap card. In the Japanese version, it was. But of course, in our version, it's a monster card. Also, the attack and defense of this card are slightly different in this duel. In episode 20, once again, the Para and Dox duel. This one is I quite like this one. When Celtic Guardian gets destroyed by Dungeon Worm, Joey shouts, "I'm going to attempt it as well. I'm going to attempt it. Yeah, my Celtic Guardian." That was really bad. But obviously Celtic Guardian belongs to Yugi, not Joey. Thumbs up for the awful Brooklyn Rage. When Monster Tamer is summoned, the graphics show it with 1,500 defense, whereas the OCG and TCG version of this card has 1,600 defense. Finally, episode 21. When the Red Eyes Black Dragon is summoned, it gives off the Blue Eyes White Dragon's cry instead of its own. Though, when it lands next to Summon Skull, it goes back to its regular cry. So it seems not only is the Red Eyes Black Dragon one of the most nostalgic monsters in the game, it's also quite a good impersonator. When Black Skull Dragon is powered up with Ryoku's effect, the attack should have been increased to 4,100, as Para and Dox each lost 450 life points, and Black Skull Dragon's original attack of course is 3,200, and it didn't lose any attack between its initial summoning and when it gained attack from Ryoku. After Suijin destroys Flame Swordsman, the Paradox Brothers are seen doing pretty impressive air flips. For a brief frame, the entire squad can be seen at the entrance of the dueling arena. This includes little Yugi Moto as well. Seems the guy can be in two places at once. Incredible scenes. But thanks for watching. This was my video, Things You Missed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom Arc Part 2. And of course, if I missed out anything from episode 11 through to 21, please leave that in the comment section below so I can check that out. I love little things like this. And if you want to see more videos like this, Yu-Gi-Oh! Fact videos, character deck, duels, profiles and more, hit the subscribe button right now. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like button, share this video with a friend, or just leave me a comment in the section below. But that is it from me. I will see you in the next video. Take care.